Okay, out here at the flying field again on a cold and misty morning. Could well be one of the last mornings, maybe the last morning I get out here this year. You see, we've got some random. Why is this here? This is meant to be a battery strap, or what? I don't know. Maybe it's just meant to be some extra. No, I think it's just meant to be some extra Velcro. We'll leave that, I think. I don't think we need that. This is the Honey Bee V2. And this is the battery that came with it. Again, I'm not sure whether you're supposed to turn the transmitter on. The transmitter is on. Bit of a big bugger to get the battery in, because as soon as you try and push it in, it sticks to the Velcro. So you can't slide it in. There we go. It's hard to slide in because it's sticking to the Velcro as you slide it in. My JST connector, which I hate. I hate JST connectors. Loathe the things. Push the battery even further back, I think, because I can't even get that connector to connect. Okay, is that going to work? Don't see any sign that it is at the moment, but oh yeah, it is working. Just very quiet. It doesn't make any little twitchy noises or anything like a lot of them do. But it's bound. Don't think doesn't appear to be a throttle cut on this one. So you've just got to make sure your throttle's down and be careful. And we'll try and get his canopy on. Always one of the more annoying things to do with helicopters. Oh, I see, this is just a sort of rod that slides backwards and forwards here. And I guess these little things in the middle are actually supposed to hold it where it's supposed to go, but anyway, there we go. Just making sure that everything's working the way it should here. Yes, now this says it's a beginner helicopter series. Yeah, so these I guess were pitched as a trainer some years ago. I don't think they would kind of so much be pitched as a trainer now. I mean, I think there's certainly better options as a trainer. It's a fixed pitch helicopter. But from what I remember, well, I've got two of these. Why I've got two of them, heaven alone knows. I cannot remember remotely why I would have bought a second. It doesn't seem to make any sense. I'm not that fond of them. Why the heck I bought a second one, I have no idea. But I do. This is in fact the second one, I think. The other one I've had longer, and the other one's been flown more and crashed a few times, and indeed is, I think, waiting for spares. I looked at it and I noticed it's had some spares put in its head. It's had its head rebuilt, the other one. But on the other one, this piece, the tail fin and motor mounting is broken, so I've ordered a couple of those. You can get spares. I bought this one from Zonda Hobby, and I ordered the spares from Zonda Hobby as well. Anyway, we'll see what we can do with it. So there is no throttle cut. That's where the throttle cut would normally be on the transmitter. That's a trainer. There's an idle up switch, which, given that this is fixed pitch, I don't know, maybe I have to turn that on. I'm not going to turn it on till try. Nope, I clearly do not have to turn that on. Now, why there would be an idle up switch, maybe just because they use this same transmitter for collective pitch, because this is not a collective pitch helicopter. I don't remember when I last tried flying these. Well, I remember flying the other one in the park near my home and then having trouble with it, but it may have been a somewhat windy day. Not much wind today, just a breath. I mean, he's definitely as you'd expect him to be, more twitchy than things like the WLToys helicopters, because he doesn't have any computer stabilization. He's older, he's an older model. This is before the days of computer stabilization. And you know, it's amazing what computer stabilization does. Most of the things we fly today, quite honestly, a lot of them, even when we fly them in the supposedly the not super stable mode, they still have, you know, computer flying controllers which are helping us fly them. Well, see what I mean? Famous last words. I was flying him too near the ground. I bounced him into the ground, and you know, I don't think I broke anything then, but it's quite easy to break things doing that. Hopefully I didn't break anything then. That was a very mild tip, but I did tip him. He is not a particularly, he's not twitchy as hell, but he's not a terribly stable flyer. He's relying on that flybar for stability, and got to spin him up. Oops. His tail rotor's hitting the edge of the thing, the takeoff thing there. Not a lot of clearance on that tail rotor at all. Get up there. I'm flying this guy because it's cold, which tends to impact your battery output. I'm flying this guy with the battery that came with him, an 800 milliamp hour 3-cell, I think. I'm not sure it's 3-cell or 2-cell off the top of my head without looking at it, to be honest. Forget. Thinking 3-cell. Not a very big battery though. You saw it as I was putting it in, that green battery. It came, that's an Esky battery that came with him. He hovers not too badly, but you know, his tail does, he has a tail gyro of course, I mean, but his tail doesn't hold terribly well, and even a little bit of wind pushes him, and then he's not that easy to restabilize again. You could pick these, I don't know if they do still sell these at all. I think you can pick them up quite cheaply now, but you know, there are just so many better options probably these days. It's an older helicopter, a somewhat roughish fixed pitch single rotor helicopter with a flybar. All in all, you know, I mean, you compare this, for example, to the V913, which is also a single rotor helicopter with a high flybar, you know, so they're almost directly comparable. And the V913 is way easier to fly, way nicer, way more pleasant to fly than this, quite honestly. I don't wish to be negative, but it's true. I mean, I've had the V9, you see, I had the V913 out the other day, and the V913 is very comparable to this. It's also a flybar, single rotor helicopter, but it's way more stable and well behaved than this. This tail doesn't keep drifting all the time. You feel much more positively in control of something like the V913, and I don't believe that even supposedly has any computer stabilization particularly. But this guy's tail is not holding well, but I don't bring him too close to myself, because again, he's big enough that you probably trying to get at the trim. Whoa, famous last words. Whoa. I was trying to get at the trim there. Oh, because it's a ludicrous trim. It's an analog trim, that's another thing. It's not a digital trim, that's why it went. I went to push the trim over to try and get one click of trim, and it just went all the way over because it's an analog trim, it's not a digital trim. Well, I should know these things, I suppose. But yes, I went to put, because the tail kept drifting, so I went to put a little bit of trim in. I wanted to put 1 or 2 clicks of trim, and I'm used to digital trims. Very few things have analog trims anymore. But this guy has analog trims. You know, they're just an analog slider for a trim. I don't know. See if he still flies. Nope. I don't know why not. Maybe just because the battery's lost power. Or, oh, no, maybe. No, we've broken a piece. See, that's another thing. They break very easily, these. Yep, we've broken the head. That little crash there broke the head. Yeah, and that's another thing. They break very easily, these. It broke the blade holder, that little crash. So, yes, I could not honestly, I got 2 of them, but I couldn't honestly recommend them. I could not honestly recommend them. There are better options these days. And that's kind of annoying. So, you know, now I'm going to need to get a new... I'm trying to figure out what part that is. The blade holder there, so if you take the blades off, it's just that piece, but I don't think I've got one. I've got some spares, but... oh well, so there you go. And frankly, not a typical outing with that. I mean, that was a stupid error. As I say, I thought it had digital trim. I'm just used to everything having digital trims. I wasn't expecting an analog trim, and I pushed the trim and lurched it over. Anyway, Honey Bee V2, can't honestly say as I recommend it these days. But if someone offers to give you one for nothing, what the heck?